Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Well This Morning on a very fine and pleasant morning over here, live from the studios of PTV World from Islamabad. I am Shaza Hashmi, and well, if you do watch Well This Morning, you know that every other day, me and my co-anchor do join you to share our mornings with you, our information with you, our knowledge with you. Unfortunately, today, though, Shahzad Khan is not here today. He will be there again tomorrow, inshallah. But let's speak about this morning. I hope all of you, first of all, are waking up to one of the most perfect days of your life, inshallah. And for that, I feel like you have to wake up with a positive attitude. For me, rain always works out. I mean, no matter what mood I'm in, if it starts raining or if it starts getting cloudy, my mood is automatically lifted. I mean, it's just such a blessing for me to look at the beauty of the nature. And just this morning, I was lucky enough to catch rain. I do wake up quite early because of the routine of the show as well. So in the areas that I live in, well, in and near the Margala Hills as well, it was just so stunning. And I know for a fact that it was raining in different parts of the country, Kharia even, Multan even, well, Rawalpindi, of course, nearby, and other areas as well. So for everyone who has been enjoying rain for the past 2 days or even is going to enjoy today as well, enjoy, of course, but also stay safe, because if you are going to be driving outside, make sure that you are not overspeeding. The roads do get slippery, and a lot of people, just for the sake of enjoying rain or enjoying the scenery for that matter, sort of lose their focus of their driving as well. So please be safe for yourselves and for the people around you. And speaking of being safe, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the slippery roads that you have to look out for. It is the fourth wave of the COVID-19 going on as well. We are hoping, inshallah, that it won't get to the level that we have seen the other waves get to. But unfortunately, there are chances. It can although be controlled. And that entirely 100% depends on you. Even though if you are vaccinated, make sure to wear your masks and everything when you go into public spaces. Avoid going to public spaces first of all. But it's okay if you do, make sure to keep your distance and wear the mask. We don't want to spend another Eid, well, amidst the chaos, right? I really hope it gets better for everyone. But you know, I mean, think about this pandemic and then think about the rains going on, and every other year in different parts of the country there's floods, there's wildfires going on as well, and there's some glaciers melting. I mean, so many things happening. Do you guys know that at this point in time, we are, I mean, in terms of climate change, we are at a point where there's no reversal, where there's no going back. We have done the most chaos to the planet ever since the existence of creation. Can you believe it? We are into extinction. We are seeing in front of our eyes our air being polluted, our water being diminished and polluted, of course, and, well, the ecosystem being imbalanced, so many different populations dying down, extinction on the brink as well. This is crazy. Of course, it is human caused if you're talking about climate change, but there are so many different aspects to climate change as well. Luckily, though, for 2 or 3 decades now, people are taking this up as a topic of discourse. They are generating discussions to go about it, to, if not reverse it, to probably stop it from further creating a chaos as well. Climate change is something we are going to be talking about in the first segment. Let's go take a look at this informative report about it. And when we come back, we will have a very special guest who happens to be a climate change activist at such a tender age. Well, let's take a look at the report first. All right, I think we do have a little wait in the report. Until then, let me just tell you, this person that we are going to have in the first segment today happens to be a teenager, first of all. And then I already did mention she happens to be a climate change activist and making full use of social media and all the resources she has right now. Before introducing her, again, let's take a look at this report.
Nature is suffering is clearly urging call to action. Australian fires, heat records and the worst locust invasion in Kenya. Now we face COVID-19, a worldwide health pandemic linked to the health of our ecosystem. Climate change, man-made changes to nature as well as crimes that disrupt biodiversity such as deforestation, land use change, intensified agriculture and livestock production or the growing illegal wildlife trade can increase contact and the transmission of of infectious diseases from animals to humans, zoonotic diseases like COVID-19. Ecosystems support all life on Earth. The healthier our ecosystems are, the healthier the planet and its people. Restoring our damaged ecosystems will help to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent mass extinction. We need a shift to more sustainable economy that works for both people and the planet. Let's promote harmony with nature and the earth.
That is the dream, right? Creating harmony with the nature and the earth, of course. Well, okay, let's start this conversation with this person I was talking about. She happens to be a climate change activist. She has joined us through Skype for this very show. Uswa Zainab, she is a 16-year-old making a massive change in the world as well, of course, in terms of climate change too. Assalamu alaikum, Uswa. Are you here with us? I think we're trying to build a connection here. Uswa, can you hear us? This is Uswa Zainab, who happens to be a social media activist, of course, climate change activist too. Maybe you can raise your volume from the studios, please. I can't hear Uswa. Assalamu alaikum, how are you doing?
Walaikum assalam. I am with you right now. I'm sure you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, let me tell you, I am absolutely in love with the kind of work that you're doing. I really, really hope you do get, well, you are getting the recognition for it. So let's begin with that recognition first. You are going to be a part of Youth for Climate event that is going to be taking place in Italy from the United Nations. Congratulations. How did that happen?
Thank you very much. So before I get to that, I would like to thank you. So thank you so much for having me with you. It's an absolute honor, and I'm absolutely enthralled to be with you this morning. And yes, I have been selected for the Youth for Climate Driving Ambition event in Milan. It is with the coalition of the government of Italy and the United Nations. And this is going to be pre-COP 26. So COP is Conference of Parties, and this year in 2021, Conference of Parties will have its 26th meeting, and where the world leaders will come together to discuss the future of the world in terms of climate change. So Youth for Climate is prior to the Conference of Parties, where we will, as delegates, discuss and select a course for the ministers and the leaders of the world to discuss regarding climate change. And I've been selected as the delegate of Pakistan, so that's a great honor for me.
It's an honor for us as well, Uswa. Let me just tell you that. So you, at a very young age, did realize that social media is a platform that you can use to actually create awareness. Can you please walk us through your journey, how you use that very element to actually pick up on climate change?
Yeah, sure. So climate change has been very close to my heart, and social media also, I realized, as you mentioned, that it's a very powerful tool. I can get my voice across to millions at the same time. So I started off with debating. I've always been into debating and putting my opinions across and making myself heard from ever since I was a toddler. And growing up, I was into debating. Then I started debating on social media, putting my speeches on social media. I got support and encouragement, and then from over there I went on to become a social media activist, where I talk about issues of common concern to the world, and as well as issues of Pakistan, national issues, and on occasions like Eid and other religious reasons also. So that's my activism, and it primarily focuses on climate change as well as women education and women empowerment.
Yes, I do realize that you also have an initiative where you're helping SMEs as well. We'll get to that, Uswa. But now, when you say that you have your social media and you like to speak about things, that makes me think that, of course, you do your homework. I mean, you do your research before talking about things. That's only natural, right? So you being the delegate of representation of Pakistan going to Italy, what are some of the things that you have decided you will bring to the table, the issues that Pakistanis are facing?
Yeah, that's a very important question. Thank you for bringing that up. So I essentially identified three thematic areas which I think are of utmost importance in securing a fair outcome of the Conference of Parties 26 in Italy this year. So the first and the foremost thing I think is the rule book. So what is the rule book? Back in 2015, when the world leaders signed the Paris Agreement, they set a 3-year timeline for themselves to finalize the rules of implementation to execute this Paris Agreement. And this rule book is also known as the Paris Rule Book. So by 2018, they had finalized most of it, but not completely. And it's 6 years on from that Paris Agreement already, and it has not been finalized just yet. So my aim of activism in the and advocacy at the Conference of Parties 26 this year would be primarily to focus on the drawing up of this Paris Rule Book, whereby I will encourage the leaders to set common timeframes for national climate commitments, and also to strengthen transparency and accountability measures to hold countries accountable to stick to their commitments, and also to agree how carbon markets will work so that they can reduce global emissions. So this will be my first area of interest and focus. The second would be to achieve genuine equity and fairness at these climate negotiations. And for example, there are those developing and underdeveloped countries which contribute the least to climate change but are suffering its impacts the most, which is injustice. And yet resources and support for these countries which are most affected has always been painfully slow. So we need to ensure that these countries have the access to the resources that they need to compensate for the loss that climate change causes them. And my third area of interest is also very important to my heart, and that is securing climate justice for children as well as youth. Back in when this climate change conference was being held in the previous years, the Article 6 of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, I'm sure you know about it, UNFCCC, the sixth article of it seeks to enable the society to be a part of climate action to curb climate change. So the Doha Work Program was drawn up for this, and it was to be in action from 2012 to 2020. But now in 2021, that Doha program has run its course and expired. So my area of activism would also be to encourage a robust and funded replacement for the Doha program, so that the youth and the society in general are also able to drive their ambition towards climate action through capacity and training building and other means of education. So these would be my three key areas of interest at the Conference of Parties this year.
Brilliant, brilliant. Best of luck for, inshallah, well, first of all, bringing your ideas to the table. Uswa, Zainab, you are the kind of people I want to see. You're the kind of youngsters I want to see in Pakistan as well, because just listening to you, I can tell that you feel for these things. Now, and I want this to be a candid discussion. I don't want it to be scripted. I want to understand what is coming from your mind as the youth of Pakistan. You did say that when we talk about carbon emissions, Pakistan actually happens to be one of the smallest contributors, but has the largest impact. I mean, one of the largest. So while of course it does become political at some point, and you are taking it to United Nations as well, that's great. But to reduce the carbon emissions, or actually to reduce the impact, social mobilization has to come in. It's not just the UN or the government that has to do things. So you having your platforms and everything, how can you make a layman Pakistani understand how not to contribute to, well, climate change?
I think that's a very important question, because most of my activism focuses on climate action, and I mostly encounter this question. People ask me that, isn't climate change something for the scientists to worry about only? And I tell them, no, it's not for the scientists to worry
Right.
about, because
Is
scientists
it?
would. Are you saying
Go
something?
on. I was
I'm sorry.
asking if it is just for the scientists.
No, it's not only for the scientists, because you see, scientists would be probably sitting in their air conditioned offices while climate change shows itself in actual physical form in the outside world, where we come into direct contact with it more than the scientists do. So it's not only for the scientists to worry about, it's for us to worry about. And you're right in saying that Pakistan contributes only 0.8% to the global gas house emissions, but is the eighth largest country to be impacted by the climate change. So I think that's very right to be pointed out. And I think that extraordinarily high temperatures, which are instances of climate change, excessive rain, droughts, floods, and melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, and also affecting of bee and insect populations which pollinate those plants, will lead to devastation, will lead to absolute devastation. And these are only the slightest of manifestations of climate change. So we're very right in saying that it's a very big a thing that an enemy to be reckoned with. But we must also understand that where the population of Pakistan or any developing country, they're too caught up in winning bread and butter for their families, and they have so many economical issues. I'm talking about an individual right now. They have so many economical issues pressing on them right now that the issue of climate change is sort of pushed to the back seat, and it is rightly done so because the impacts of climate change are very far off right now. We don't see it killing thousands and thousands of people just like we saw COVID do. And since we do not see those immediate deaths, we tend to think, okay, climate change doesn't exist. Moreover, I think mainstream media, just like it in every headline and every bulletin, they kept on reiterating the deaths being caused by COVID-19. I think if the same activism and enthusiasm about awareness was shown about climate change, people would take it more seriously. So there are a lot of factors coupled with lack of education and awareness. It is exacerbated because most of the people, they think because of lack of knowledge and awareness, they think that this climate change and the things that they're seeing like smog in Pakistan is only a climate, a normal change of climate or a normal change of weather, which is a routine thing, and they don't take it seriously. So as far as convincing them to come into the field and take action, I think that can be done at grassroots, but only to a limited level, because unless an individual has examples to follow, they would not be able to act upon it. I'll give you an example. For example, hypothetically speaking, there's a person who's living on the bare minimum, at the bare minimum wages in Pakistan, and let's imagine and be hopeful that he is also climate aware and is climate educated, and he convinces his families to work upon climate activism. Then imagine if they, even if they partition their own household garbage into glass, plastic, and paper separately, what will happen to that garbage then? There are no mechanisms after that that would collect those that garbage partitioned and specifically and take it to recycling. There's no mechanism after that. What if he puts his garbage, his own household's garbage in a dust can, but none of the people in his streets or in his area do that otherwise? So, and also when he sees that large corporates do not have any limits on the greenhouse gas emissions that they make, they are polluting the rivers and the seas and everything else, how will they be motivated to then work individually? So I think in order to convince the entire society to be climate active and climate educative, I think there needs to be a mass literacy program, as well as policies that put first off a cap on the corporates, on the gas house emissions that they can make, the carbon emissions that they can make, and how much they can pollute the country that they're in, and also carry out a mass literacy program that would make a lot of people aware.
Thank you, Uswa, for saying that. I do 100% agree with you. We do need a massive educational campaign, and I do hope that this kind of education is actually incorporated from a younger level, because that is when you are setting the mindset. Now, towards the end, I want some advice, or let's just say tips, from the expert over here. We are heading into Eid al-Azha soon, inshallah, and that is, while it is a moment of festivities for everyone, yes, it is a religious practice as well. It is also a moment of massive littering. I don't know how else to put it. So do you have a message for Pakistanis out there how not to be messy on Eid al-Azha? Please go ahead.
I would love to, but I have a question before that to ask the general people who are looking at us, who are the audience right now, that even if they do take initiatives on their own to make their, no, not everyone has large grounds or fields in their houses or in their vicinity that they can dig up and dispose of their wastages of the animals over there, and then dig it up and then cover it so that it decomposes naturally. Not everyone has that, and people in streets, in mohallas, in areas of the vicinity, they do not have massive uh, 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 resources to dispose of their animal and their wastages completely and efficiently. So I think there needs to be a mechanism that ensures that there are proper disposal services so that people are encouraged to use them. And even if there aren't, I think what I can say is that we need to be climate literate and educated this world, this earth is our only home. Where will we go if this earth gets destroyed? So we need to take action right now. And in our own individual spaces, what we can do is perhaps find a spot, perhaps find make a place in every street, in every vicinity where people go and they slaughter their animals and also dispose of their waste in one place. So the government knows and takes that waste away from there, or they can find a field or dig up a trench or whatever and do that over there. But I think me sitting over here as a teenager, this will not be effective unless there is a whole mechanism on the government level that encourages this. So I think you would agree with me on that fact. But as far as advice is concerned, I think we all need to care about this earth because it's our only home. And I'll be repeating myself again. So I think we need mechanisms essentially
Yeah,
for such a
definitely.
such a
Well,
campaign on
I
the
do
large
stand with
scale.
you where you said that we need climate literacy. I stand with you 100%. Our premier, the incumbent government, well, himself, Imran Khan Saab, does realize that this is something that Pakistan needs to change, and this is going to have a major, major impact on the country. And he is doing a lot of campaigns about it as well. We've seen it. We have been recognized in the world as well. Towards the very end, one last question, Uswa, Zainab, because a lot of people are watching you right now, and we are getting in feedback to you being so young and having a control over social media and your narrative as well. How do you make use of your resources? Because I mean, people like to learn how you want to make a presence on social media. How do you do that?
How I present myself on social media. So, if we talk about videos or whatever, I think the first step in doing so is identifying your skills and talents because everyone is unique in that. Everyone is unique in their personalities and talents. So you need to identify. I personally think that a person needs to identify what their skills are and then identify how they're going to present their skills and what value will they be bringing to their audience and the viewers because nowadays I think you would agree with me also on this that everyone is becoming an analyst over social media and they'll pick up anything that's trending on Twitter and take their stance on it in a video and post it and they call themselves influencers. So I think that's also fine as long as you're not hurting anyone. But if you're talking about effective influencing or effective campaigning or activism, then I think you need to identify your skills and then determine how in the best manner you will be putting those skills out so that you bring value to their to your audience for their time. And activism, I think we also need to take into account the social values and the social norms and the acceptability standards of our society and conform to those because even if we and not to those which are oppressive or which are unjust, I think we all can discern the unjust from the just. I'm talking about those values which are societal and which are acceptable to all. I think we must conform to them if we're going to be activists in Pakistan and in our society. So I think that's all I have to say. And I also think that a lot of people do not they hesitate and do not come on social media thinking that people will judge them or criticize them and all. But trust me, when you come on social media and you start putting your skills out there, out of 100%, there's 99.9% support and 0.1% criticism, which is also largely constructive. So I think we should all take things in a positive manner, in a positive light, and try to make ourselves better at all points. I think that answers your question, I hope.
It does for sure. Thank you so much, Uswa Zainab, for being with us. Thank you so much for being so, well, enlightening to me as well. I learned a lot from you. Thank you for doing that. Well, ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen, you
very
heard
much
it from
for
the
this
horse's mouth
opportunity.
themselves. Pakistan is definitely having a major impact on itself because of the climate change that we did partially contribute, but of course because of the other countries as well. Individually, there's a lot that we can do. Uswa Zainab gave the answers to you. But you know, when we talked about social media, it made me think one thing. Well, definitely, she is an activist, she is an influencer, and there's a lot of people, hundreds and thousands of them, who want to be like her. But is social media for everyone? While it is available for everyone, I mean, there's no free lunch, right? It comes with a lot of baggage. How to correctly use it, how to securely use it, and how to use it without making a menace for yourself and for people around you is what I think we should learn, definitely. And I'll try to do that in the next segment. If you stay tuned, you will be learning with me as well. Good morning. We're heading out right now to a short break. Welcome back to World This Morning. I'm Shaza Hashmi, here with you every other morning to learn and inform, of course, and also to have a little fun. Now, here's the thing. If you did miss the first segment, one of the things that I want to take from that segment forward is how internet is available for everyone, just a touch away or just a click away. At the expense of your own palms, you have the access to the entire world. But while definitely it is a blessing, we need to learn as individuals how to be secure while using it. I'll tell you why I'm saying that, and to give you as the simplest of examples, all right? Because let me tell you, I'm a layman like you when it comes to internet or cybersecurity for that matter, so we will be learning together. This was just last week. One of a hackers' groups actually hacked into one of not a very huge American company, but they did, all right? And they got their client's information, and it started a chain reaction. And with that client's information, they actually got a hold on all the companies linked to that one company. Now, imagine building a chain reaction on the board, all right? How one action can actually impact everyone around. Well, around that action actually. So from all those companies, they actually got their hands on to their clients as well, and then their information. We're talking about millions of people right now, and this is just one of the latest incidents. We come across such data, well, such kind of news every other year, every other month even. There are attacks on nationalities, nations, politicians, I mean, even individual normal people. It's just it is a chaos, it is a menace when it comes to not understanding how to use the internet. I'm not saying just abandon your phones and never go back to the World Wide Web again, but here's the thing, let's learn how to use it, right? Let's learn what kind of information we have to put on the internet for people to have access to, and how can we make sure that the kind of information that we put is actually safe. These are some of the talking points that we will be discussing in this segment. So for you to stay tuned, it is important. Before that, let's take a look at this very informative report about cybersecurity in Pakistan, how the things are. When we come back from that, I have two experts over here who are going to answer all your questions. Let's do it.
Cybersecurity refers to the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from the attack, damage, or unauthorized access. Cybersecurity may also be referred to as information technology security. Cybersecurity is important because government, military, corporate, financial, and medical organizations collect, process, and store unprecedented amounts of data on computers and other devices. A significant portion of that data can be sensitive information, whether that be intellectual property, financial data, personal information, or other types of data for which unauthorized access or exposure could have negative consequences. Organizations transmit sensitive data across networks and to other devices in the course of doing businesses, and cybersecurity describes the discipline dedicated to protecting the information and the systems used to process or store it. The global cyber threat continues to evolve at a rapid pace, with a rising number of data breaches each year. A report by Risk-Based Security revealed that a shocking 7.9 billion records have been exposed by data breaches in the first 9 months of 2019 alone. This figure is more than double the number of records exposed in the same period in 2018. For an effective cybersecurity, an organization needs to coordinate its effort throughout its entire information system. Pakistan is also being one of the top targets of foreign espionage. There are increased calls within the country to devote more resources for securing computer systems, investing in the security of the country's digital infrastructure, and strengthening cybersecurity research and development. Pakistan also needs a strong cybersecurity framework to counter identity theft, financial data theft, and surveillance of critical infrastructure.
Well, interestingly and sadly so, Pakistan is definitely randomly having, well, foreign espionage attacks on, well, its services as well. And just recently, I think this was on Twitter, one of our neighboring countries is actually operating a lot of platforms where they're spreading misinformation about Pakistan and some elements that they think can cause chaos in the country. Well, it's not going to work, but this is why we need to learn how there can be so many wrong elements on the internet as well. One of the things that bothers me, of course, I am going to be introducing my guest over here, but imagine as a layman, if you buy something, you use your card at a shop, the very next moment, you start receiving 20 and 25 or 30 messages from every other shop in the country sending you their packages or their sale messages or whatnot. How did they get your number just right after you use your card? It bothers me. I never shopped at that very, I mean, company or shop that I'm talking about, but they have my data. I don't like that. Let's see how we can fix that. First of all, I happen to have someone with me who is brilliant. He's very smart in what he does. I don't comprehend the type of work that he does, but well, let's try to. He happens to be a research engineer and a cyber expert. Assalamu alaikum, Hassam Tahir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well,
I'm fine.
It's my pleasure. Well, it's great to have you back. Next to Hassam, we have someone again who's making a great name for Pakistan in the very same field. He happens to be a data privacy expert, Kaisar Ansar Kasana. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having me today.
It's my pleasure. All right. So to begin with, I think, Hassam, I want you to take the discussion and let us know why it is important, first of all, to learn about cybersecurity.
Before cybersecurity, we should know what is cybercrime.
Yeah, what is cybercrime?
First of all, I would like to tell briefly that cybercrime is, in short, internet fraud for a layman.
Okay.
That fake emails comes and your data can be hacked,
Okay.
and your mobile phones can be hacked, your computers can be hacked, your money can be hacked through credit cards. So like I want to discuss some stats before telling about cybersecurity.
Please.
In 2019, $500 billion were lost in this whole system in USA. In 2020, $712 billion were lost, and it is predicted that in 2021, $721 billion would be lost by the end of this year.
It keeps increasing?
Yes, and this whole report was published by Federal Trade Commission in USA, and it is quite authenticated. Among this, 4.8 million people are affected yearly due to cybercrime, and 300 million people are affected on this data privacy breaching. So first of all, we should basically know that data breaching and these online scams are selling of your personal information.
Right.
I want to discuss another stat that in 2020, the chain of Marriott hotels, their personal information was disclosed, and around 5.2 million people were personal information was disclosed, and though they had an agreement, but still a lot of revenue was lost due to this whole setup. So coming towards cybersecurity, that what is cybersecurity and how we should prevent to avoid these attacks. First of all, we should adopt new techniques of cloud computing.
Okay.
Cloud computing is that storing the whole data in your own setup, and you can access it from anywhere in the world. It is a sort of backup for that. For example, if your computer or your phone got hacked, so you have a backup and your data is backed up in a secure position.
Okay.
Number two,
But that's not stopping from hacking, is it? It's just
this
securing
is
your own
for,
data.
for layman and for basic.
Got it.
You can say this is a basic need that your data should be secure. Now moving towards protecting the data, we should use tricky encryption techniques. Tricky encryption techniques and few blockchain techniques, which is a new technique, should be integrated with the old techniques so that the encryption is strong, decryption is strong, and the attackers have some difficulty. Still they can get into the still they can get through any corner of those techniques, but still it is quite better than before.
All right.
So this is a very basic technique. One more thing is that we should use updated softwares and paid softwares. Whenever you use cracked softwares, that data can be breached and the whole setup can be also hacked from there.
Which makes me think again. I don't want to be throwing names, or well, let's not talk about brands, but we have to at this point. Where you said that if you use cracked versions and everything, there's a lot of room for your data to be leaked. Would you say it's a yes or no question that iOS would be safer than using an Android because there's no cracked versions or similar, or is there a safer option among, well, the available options? Let's begin with you.
Actually, which Isam explained you that you make sure about the latest trends and technologies to secure your data while connecting to internet. But let me discuss that. There are a huge user of smart gadgets, which includes Android, iOS, your personal computers, your laptops. But actually, in our end, basically there are a lot of problem of awareness, lack of awareness, because one of the thing that Hassam told is cracked versions. Basically, when you use a cracked version of any software in your personal computer or laptop, basically there are hundreds of cases registered in Pakistan as well, and in all the other countries in the concerned authorities, that when you use a cracked version of software, that basically encode your all the files and data in your computer, and then they will ask you to pay to restore your data. This is one of the cracked version of software, one of the issue of cracked version of software. But actually, when we talk about cyber crimes, basically the major thing is who a layman or a normal user of normal citizen can secure themselves from these crimes.
How can they?
Basically, the most important thing is making sure before you click on any link. You must came across on your text messages, on your WhatsApp, like link shortener. Basically, no companies and different, when you are creating some links and you want to short your link, and there is a different tools available on the internet that basically short your link. And by using these link shorteners, basically you are vulnerable to different phishing sites. Basically, when you talk about cyber crimes, there are different types of cyber crimes, which is one of this is phishing and spoofing. Basically, you are providing your login credentials or other kind of credentials to any authority which is illegally or unethically basically getting your information. And the other one is basically data breach, which I already mentioned in the last program we had previous, that the major data breach is in 2016 US elections. Basically, Facebook data was used to manipulate users. And the third is basically malware, to use your malicious software and your personal computers as smart gadgets, and that basically affect your personal information. And another one is ransomware, but the major things I have discussed earlier. But the next topic is how we can prevent ourselves.
Yes, let's talk about that in detail, because when we are talking about people using the internet without having the knowledge of what is safe and what not, and I tell you, I'm one of them. I'm probably insecure on the internet, but here's the thing. You spoke about links that are often forwarded through messages and everything, and that happens on a daily basis. I am talking to a lot of elders out there who have WhatsApp groups and forward messages of, there's either click this and you shall receive 25 KFC zingers, and they forward it to their entire list. And then there's some like, okay, open this link to see how beautiful Pakistan is, and then we open the link, there's a blank page, and it often asks you to open your Facebook or fill in your Facebook data to actually access that page. And just blatantly, without thinking, you would put in your password and be like, मैं तो अपना Facebook खोल रही हूँ, इसमें क्या गलत हो सकता है? There are so many things you have to look out for. So how do we look out for these things? Can you identify with a given link or something that something might be wrong?
We cannot identify,
But
we can spread awareness. The basic thing is we can spread awareness. 75 to 80% young generation is already aware. But the elders are not aware. They do spread things like you told. They do spread links, and even if they spread links, and in among 25 people, 5 people click that link and their mobile got hacked. So the hackers are successful. So we should spread awareness how to use Facebook or any social media platform, how to use emails, how to check upon the promotion, unpromoted. Some ads are, you have seen that in email, your scam box is most of the time full because of the unusual ads. Those ads also contain hacking a malware which is silently installed in this whole system.
So we just open it and
we just open it and that is silently installed in the whole system, and it dooms the system, and everything is finished. Most of the times whole computer can be gone, and then they demand a certain and a big amount of money to restore that whole thing. So according to me, according to my opinion, proper research campaigns should be started and should be conveyed to the elders, especially.
Are you talking at a national level?
first of all, we should start from national level
Okay.
before starting from international level.
Okay.
Then we can move towards international level.
For sure. And yes, I totally agree with you because, like you said, I mean, silently the system would be installed in your computer, and for people like me, we wouldn't even know. Kesa, why don't you add your tips to how to be secure, and then we'll move on to reporting crime.
So there are a few things that you should be aware before using internet. The first thing is do not click on links like you just mentioned that there's rewards. They said you that if you click on the link and register for this offer or promotion, that you will get some
Discount.
amount or discounts or some other things. I must say that do not click on these links. And the other thing is, do not share your personal information, your financial information with anyone that you don't trust.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if you are vulnerable to, or if you are, you know, if happened to you, cybercrime happened to you, that you should report that to the concerned authority.
Yeah.
That a National Response Center for Cybercrime, which is
Yes.
basically a subunit of Federal Investigation Agency, which came into existence after the Electronic Act Prevention Act in 2016.
2016, yes.
Basically, there are two ways that you can report a cybercrime. The first one, very first one, is the cybercrime helpline, which is basically 1991. you can-
1991,
which is basically
alright.
24/7 helpline, which is for National Response Center for Cybercrime. You can report your cybercrime, and the other way to report is and a website where you can report your cyber crime, anything happened to you, which is compliant.fia.gov.pk.
Okay. Okay, brilliant. Well, we do have the services, ladies and gentlemen, for you to actually report. God forbid if you do come across an attack or a crime on your own personal data privacy or cybersecurity. Here's the thing. Everything has moved online, has transitioned literally over a period of 1 year in front of our eyes, be it education, be it shopping. Shopping, although was already, but now everyone is using internet for that, right? Or being meeting people, or being job interviews, whatever it is online. And we would use it without thinking twice. If it is a data system for a hospital, LMS for that matter, you know, we don't think twice before utilizing any of that. Do you think us moving everything online is a security breach for us as well? I mean, potential security breach?
Actually, it is a security breach, but it is necessary also.
Yeah. How
It is
what should
necessary
we do?
also, so there are some steps,
Okay.
basic steps we should follow. You can say it is like, you can say like preliminary steps.
Okay.
First of all, you should have strong encryption, strong password, tricky passwords. The other step is that you should have awareness to click on what thing and to not click to the other thing. For example, if you click on some link and the ads open and you see that this is not an authenticated website, you should just
Right.
leave that. The other thing is moving towards the security challenges of this whole system. It is actually based on the national level.
Okay.
And the government also deal with these things, and a lot of cost is indulged on these whole setups. One thing, and the other thing is that IoT techniques are also like developed these days, which is also convenience but also a threat to whole system. For example, your devices and much of the devices are connected to one single internet,
Yeah.
and there can be a single breach out of the personal information. Definitely personal information contains credit cards information and your name, personal address. So before going toward this, you should take the basic steps:
Right.
authentication of website, strong password, and avoidance to give your personal
Information.
and financial details. So this is the basic steps and the whole setup
The
we should
simplest
follow. The
steps, I think,
simplest
that
you
we
can
can
step
take.
for a layman. These are the simplest steps which he or she can follow.
Absolutely, but thank you so much, both of you gentlemen, for sharing your knowledge with us and, well, sort of making us learn how to be secure while using the internet. This was Kaysar and Hassan. Both of them happen to be, of course, data privacy and cyber experts, brilliant in their own fields. We're helping you out, actually, to learn how to be safe on the internet. So for the simplest, let's say, whatever we learned from this segment is, make sure not to give out your information, your personal, credit card information, your address, and your other details to anyone who who can even seem shady. If it's a bank, the bank will contact you directly for the information, not through any random number, not through any random message or your spam emails for that matter. And also make sure to make a strong password for your social media accounts. Do not, and I repeat it again, do not open extra links on your WhatsApp forwarded messages, and especially if the message says forwarded, that is your cue. Do not open the link. It is going to breach your privacy. Well, I really hope you learned something from this show. I did as well. But if you still have any questions, we're always open to answer to you. Write to us to let us know on our social media pages, Facebook, also YouTube and Twitter, all with the name of World This Morning. And the repeat of this show you will be able to catch tonight at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, please take care. Remember me in your prayers. Good morning. Take care.